Mangwanani malelepo vukenjani klasa vana ve Africa. Good morning and welcome to Africa Good Morning, your trusted Pan-African current affairs show coming to you on DStv Channel 285, GOtv Channel 25, 1up2.com and Network Media Hub on YouTube. Today's show is packed with powerful stories shaping our continent. We shine a light on the chaos in Kenya as police tear gas students performing a politically charged plane. Sudan's explosive accusations against the UAE at the World Court, and Israel's diplomatic drama at the African Union. We also look ahead to Gabon's first election since its coup and Zimbabwe's historic first compensation payments to white farmers. Plus a special focus on Namibia, where we bring you the latest on life-changing funding initiatives, flood response efforts in the north, and a $1 billion investment to supercharge SMEs in the energy sector. This is Africa Good Morning. My name is Ashwin Berry. Top stories shortly. Let's get into the top stories on Africa Good Morning. Kenya's prestigious National High School Drama Festival was thrown into chaos when police fired tear gas to disperse crowds gathering to watch Echoes of War, a politically charged play by students from Butere Girls' School that mirrors Kenya's societal struggles and youth activism. Initially disqualified under unclear circumstances, the play was reinstated by court order, only for tensions to escalate in Nakuru after its scriptwriter, former Senator Cleophas Malala, was blocked from attending rehearsals and briefly detained. Students boycotted the performance in protest, singing the national anthem and leaving the venue amid heavy police presence. The incident, which included harassment claims and drew large public crowds, sparked national outcry, with rights groups and opposition leaders condemning what they see as a crackdown on free expression and youth voices. The play, seen as a bold commentary on digital activism and generational tensions, has become a symbol of Kenya's ongoing political and cultural battles. Sudan has accused the United Arab Emirates of violating the Genocide Convention by arming the Rapid Support Forces, which it says committed atrocities against the Masalit people in Darfur in 2023. Presenting its case at the International Court of Justice, Sudan's acting justice minister argued that UAE-backed RSF attacks amounted to genocide, echoing a U.S. determination made earlier this year. Sudan urged the court to issue emergency measures to prevent further violence. The UAE dismissed the claims as politically driven and unsupported by credible evidence, calling the legal action a baseless PR stunt. The case adds to growing global scrutiny over foreign involvement in Sudan's civil war. Now, the ICJ is expected to hear the UAE's response soon, with jurisdiction likely to be a point of contention. Israel's ambassador to Ethiopia, Avraham Niguse, was ejected from an African Union event this week, an action he labeled outrageous and politically motivated. The incident occurred during the annual commemoration of the 1994 Rwanda genocide, with reports stating the expulsion was ordered by AU Commission Chairperson Mahamoud Yusuf, who began his term in February. While Niguse claimed Rwanda had invited him, AU sources said the ambassador was removed due to Israel's suspended observer status at the AU, a decision pending review by African heads of state. Israel had regained that status in 2021 after a 20-year absence, only for it to be suspended again in 2023. The Pan-African body, which maintains strong support for the Palestinian cause, has not yet ruled on Israel's status, but this is not the first such incident. Another Israeli Israeli diplomat was removed from the AU summit last year. Now Yusuf's office has not responded to media inquiries, and the diplomatic fallout continues to unfold. Gabon is set to hold its first presidential election since the 2023 coup on Saturday, April 13 this year, with interim leader Brice Oligui Nguema widely expected to win. Now, after leading the ouster of longtime President Ali Bongo, Nguema gained popular support with his anti-corruption stance and promises of change. Many citizens, like civil servant Eugene Donga, hope he will address rising living costs. His main challenger is former Prime Minister Alain-Claude Billy Bainze, who vows to reform public finances and reduce ties with France. Despite hopes for a political shift, analysts say the election may mark a change in leadership, not the system itself, especially since Bongo's party, the PDG, now backs Nguema. A new constitution passed in November limits presidents to 2 7-year terms, but the return of old political players has raised questions about how deep the reforms will actually go. In the last of our top stories, Zimbabwe has made its first compensation payments to white farmers whose land was forcibly seized during controversial state-backed takeovers between 2000 and 2001, announcing a $3 million payout under a 2020 agreement to eventually disburse $3.5 billion for improvements made on the farms. The move comes after years of economic turmoil and diplomatic isolation triggered by violent land seizures aimed at correcting colonial injustices, but which also devastated the country's economy and strained Western relations. The Finance Minister Mthuli Ncube confirmed the initial compensation will cover 378 of 740 approved farms, with the rest to be paid through US dollar-denominated treasury bonds. Now, while some farmers have signed up for the deal, most have not, continuing to hold title deeds as leverage. The government maintains it will only compensate for infrastructure and not the land itself, which it argues was unjustly taken during colonial rule. President Emmerson Mnangagwa, seeking to re-engage Western partners since taking over from Robert Mugabe in 2017, has upheld the land reform policy as irreversible, but views compensation as vital to restoring international ties. Analysts see the payment as a significant step toward economic normalization and re-entry into the global financial system after 2 decades of exclusion. Now, Finance Minister Mthuli Ncube hopes the payments will help clear Zimbabwe's arrears with foreign creditors and unlock long-term funding from institutions like the World Bank and the African Development Bank. Watch the video to hear more from the minister on the matter.
One of our commitments as we try to reform the Zimbabwe economy to clear our areas is really to compensate the former farm owners who lost their farms during the fast-track land reform program. So we struck an agreement which is called the Global Compensation Deed a few years back, and we have now begun to honor that agreement. The agreement basically says that we will pay a coupon initially of 1% of the value of whatever is owed, and then the remainder, which is 99%, is then paid through a US dollar bond. These bonds run for 10 years, and they have a coupon of 2% per annum. So we've begun this process. So recently we paid a 3.1 million, which is 1% coupon that is due to the farmers. Basically, 378 farmers were covered out of the 740 farmers who had been approved by our land committee for payment. So we're pleased with this development, and farmers have been equally pleased. We've set up a very robust platform and process for verifying these farmers, the bank accounts where they ought to be paid locally. If anywhere in the world, we can pay anywhere in the world, whether they're in Australia, UK, South Africa, or here in Zimbabwe, we're able to reach out to them. And if you're a paper farmer, you get compensated for both the land and improvements. If you're a farmer who has then lost their land during the fast-track land reform program, you only get compensated for improvements. We're honoring that commitment. This also follows hard on the heels of our payment to those that are covered by bilateral investment protection agreements, BIPA agreements. This is those farmers who are compensated for both improvements on the land and for the land itself. For that, we paid 20 million last year for 2024, and we're due to pay another 20 million in full in 2025. So we can see that we're honoring both tracks of farmer payments, both the BIPA farmer track as well as the global compensation deed track. We believe right now really the Zimbabwe government is doing what it ought to do. It's meeting its commitments in terms of the reform agenda, in terms of whoever it owes money. We've also been making our commitments in terms of token payments to other creditors, our bilateral partners, our multilateral partners. This is something that we continue to do. So what we're really seeking from our bilateral partners out there and other partners is for their support. Their support in sponsoring Zimbabwe with bridge financing when that time comes for us to want to receive that bridge financing to clear our arrears. We're looking again for champions, more champions out there to champion Zimbabwe's cause within the creditor community and global community. That is needed for any arrears clearance journey and process, and we hope that our partners will be.
You're still with Africa. Good morning. Before we dive into the Namibia report, let's have a look at the weather predictions. All right, it's time to zone in on Namibia's stories. The Social Security Commission of Namibia hosted its Development Fund Awards and Stakeholder Gala Dinner at the Windhoek Country Club, where it awarded a total of 31.6 million Namibian dollars to various training schemes across the country. The event celebrated initiatives aimed at enhancing skills development and socio-economic empowerment. Speaking at the gala, the Minister of Justice and Labour Relations, Philemon Emmanuel, commended the beneficiaries and urged them to ensure that the funding translates into tangible, positive impact within their communities.
Our wish as citizens of this country is that you should go and replicate the generosity of Social Security by making sure that when you have been empowered, you shall go and stretch, the hand of empowerment. Go and, be impactful to the societies that you are operating in. Go and be impactful, in whatever sphere of operation you are going to find yourself.
The Development Fund stands as a testament to our commitment to invest in human capital, empowering communities, and creating opportunities where they are needed most. From skills development to job creation and enterprise support to social innovation. As we are awarding you grants for the employment schemes of 35.6 million and training schemes of 31.6 million, but this is excluding the bursaries and the scholarships we also give. I wish to congratulate you, but also to remind you that these grants are for executing the clarion call by Her Excellency to carry forward the unfinished agenda for social advancement and to bring about shared prosperity for all.
Floodwaters continue to wreak havoc across northern Namibia, cutting off key roads and disrupting access to essential services. From Elim to Oshana, communities are grappling with the rising waters, some even stranded. But amid the crisis, efforts are underway to restore connectivity and ensure safe passage ahead of the Easter rush. Here's more on the situation and what's being done about it. Now, Elim constituency councillor Gerard Shimi has urged residents to exercise extreme caution when crossing floodwaters in that area, warning of the dangers posed by the current conditions. Providing an update, Shimi described the situation as critical, particularly along the Shoni Onanda Omapopo Road, where rising water levels have effectively cut off some communities from accessing essential services.
Thank you very much, the Namibian people. Here we stand at one point on the road of Shoni Onanda Omapopo Road. And we are at one pen which is overflowing the roads where the accessibility of the people are, and now people are under pressure of them to access to the other destinations. Actually, this water can also damage cars, properties, like plat numbers are damaged and the bulb and so on. And we collected almost 15 of them in this water. Now the water is a little bit stabilized, but it was for higher level at that time. And we dig a trench somewhere there with the assistance of the grader, which were grading the gravel road. And we dig a trench somewhere there to make sure that we pour out this water at other area. But still, for them to move is not too much faster. It's always not easy to have a flooding area, because you can even lose the life of people, and the school is also crossed. As we speak now, we have Thika is crossed, Etope is crossed, and the Etope and the Etope we are going to use the aeroplane also to bring them medicine and take the medicine and the food relief distributions because of the accessibility. Yeah, but we are happy that we have rain, we have water. We have filled with a very good bump harvest probably this year, and we have fish.
Now, the Roads Authority Chief Executive Officer Conrad Lutombi is currently busy visiting flood-affected areas in northern regions to find solutions for roads which have been cut off. Here he is visiting the Onamutuku Onkani Road in Oshana region with the aim of repairing it before Easter. Now, Lutombi said they have appointed local contractor businessman David Kambwa Shehama to fix this road. David Shehama of Kambwa Construction said his company is expected to employ about 25 locals for the repair project. Kambwa said he is committed to complete the work within a 4-week time frame and have a temporary solution for those traveling home for Easter by Wednesday next week.
Damaged. Already we have passed about 4 sections which are indeed not passable for smaller vehicle, and this part here is quite very severe. Therefore, as we have said that we did not come here to look at the water, we came here with a solution. We have appointed or directed Kambwa, as he is operating within the proximity of this road, to deploy and start as soon as tomorrow, even Friday, Saturday already, so that towards the beginning of the Easter holiday, at least we can create accessibility moving forward. What we have noted here also, we have 2 balancing culverts from the beginning as well as here. So we take note that probably our design was not accurate here, because this balancing culvert should have been in the middle here where the water is really passing much. And these are some of the corrections which we are going to make, and that's why we...
Now, as the Chief Executive mentioned, that we have the capacity to make sure that before Easter, we will deploy our machinery here so that we make sure that we will clear this water. We'll try our best so that we can source quickly the material nearby, and then we make sure the excess will be on track as we're going to do it, as we do what we say.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And in the last of our stories from Namibia, First National Bank of Namibia Limited, Moneda Capital Management Limited, and Inno Capital Investments Limited have formed a strategic partnership through the signing of a memorandum of understanding. And this was on the 9th of April, aimed at empowering and scaling small and medium enterprises within Namibia's energy, oil, and gas sectors. As part of this collaboration, FNB Namibia has committed over 1 billion Namibian dollars to bolster the local content ecosystem across the energy, oil, gas, and broader extractive industries. This substantial funding will be supported by the Moneda Inno Investments platform, which will offer additional operational and risk capital to strengthen the capacity of qualifying local SMEs, suppliers, and contractors, driving inclusive growth and industrial participation in Namibia's natural resource sectors.
Given the change in the entire industry and oil and gas being a new feature, it requires us to think and do things a little bit differently, which introduces the concept of smart partnerships. And that smart partnership involves ourselves as well as Inno Capital and Moneda, who similar to us have a vested interest in the growth of the industry and supporting the MVPs being SMEs.
We're very honored to sign this partnership with FNB. And I mean, the truth about it is that the opportunity that we find is vast, you know, it's huge. But it needs banks and financial institutions that have the appetite for the unknown. Oil and gas represents the unknown in Namibia, but organizations like this don't have to go alone. And I think that the partnership provides proper backbone from the experience that we have from Nigeria, from operating in DRC and across Africa. We think that we can bring those expertise to Namibia and jumpstart SME financing, as opposed to moving at a slow pace. So our role here is to accelerate the development of SME financing in the oil and gas space, and to make it possible for the gains to be seen quickly, as opposed to over the next 30 years, as you find across Africa. So we're very, very proud of this alliance. We're very fortunate, you know, to find ourselves at this moment in time.
DStv 2 at 5, GOtv 25, 1up2.com and Network Media Hub on YouTube is precisely where we've been delivering the Pan-African news on Africa Good Morning, making sure that you stay zoned in on the stories shaping our beautiful continent. From me, Ashwin Berry, and the Africa Good Morning team, we'll see you next week. Suraja Kanaka.